Welcome to the Been There Doing That podcast. I'm Robert Scrivener.
And I'm Gayla Scrivener.
We left the 9-to-5 grind, downsized, and our goal is to have freedom to live and to work from just about anywhere.
Welcome to the Been There Doing That podcast.
Oh, it's such a bright and chipper day here.
It is. Colorado.
Wait a minute. We're just glad to be here.
We are. Oh my goodness.
OMG moment.
This is the adventures of Buck Eye.
Buck Eye.
And that's not a person.
No.
But this hair-raising experience.
Well, let's back up to Moab. We left off at Moab, was headed towards Colorado.
We were, because you found a free campsite.
A free campsite.
We are excited about this trip because we have
free.
We have gone to a lot of free campsites and we've enjoyed them.
We're not cheap.
No, but we'd like to experience
We're just
those.
thrifty.
Yeah, I guess.
Or frugal. One or the other.
Or cheap.
Or we just could be cheap.
I don't know.
Like a bird.
Back it up. Okay, we left Moab.
Yeah, well, I think we went up Geyser Pass or something like that.
We did. And
I said,
that was a beautiful drive.
Here's the coordinates to where I want to go. Guide me. Well, this one's 10 minutes slower than this one. This one's about the same ETA. Well, this one looks interesting. Let's go this way.
Yeah. Well,
It was.
We did. It was interesting. Was that white knuckle interesting?
Nah, too bad.
No.
No, it's just snow.
It got snowier and harder to maneuver. And then we got
muddy.
up to the top.
It was muddy.
We got up to the top and saw a vehicle. Not to the top, but we saw a barrier. The gate was closed.
What is that? I think 9,500 feet, 9,500-ish.
So Geyser Pass
Still closed.
was closed for the season still.
Couldn't make it over to our destination.
Darn it, we had to go all the way back down. There was no other way. We had to find an alternate route.
So surely your GPS
would find us a route.
will find us a route. But
Was that to get to Buck Eye?
yeah.
Yeah. So trip number 1.
Yeah.
Fail. Trip number 2, we went on a more easier route, I guess you could say, or not as remote. Some of the highway, I don't remember what highway it was in Utah, like 40, and then it turned into 90 or 90.
It sounds about right.
Or was it 90 in Utah and it turned into 40?
191, and then it turned into something. I don't really remember.
I don't remember either.
Let me pull out the map here and look-see.
But as soon as you got into Colorado, it changed to 40, I believe. So I think we were on 90.
90.
I think we were on 90, and then it turned into 40.
90 in Colorado.
And then it said to turn left onto
46. And it said turn left onto X2 road.
Oh, X2 road.
Okay.
All right, it was dirt.
We just barely made it into
Colorado. Yeah, we were just... Because Buck Eye Reservoir is it's like on the Utah-Colorado line.
Almost. It's walking distance.
And
walking distance.
What national forest is that?
That is the Manti La Salle.
Oh, okay. And so we got onto X2 road, and it was kind of steep and kind of treacherous.
It's a dirt road that went off the side of 90.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And made a sharp U-turn right off the bat. And steep.
And steep, yeah.
And rocky. And steep. And rocky.
We were slow, going very slow.
Low range, low gear.
Did you have your tires?
No.
No.
That was street pressure.
Yeah. And
probably should have aired down.
Probably should. We should probably do that more often since we have a good
air
compressor now. And
X2, highly recommended.
Well,
if you want an adventure.
It took us, when we crossed into Colorado, which was about 4:30, we arrived at our campsite at 6:30.
And how far was that?
I don't know the mileage.
Oh,
Yes, I do.
It was like
It
13
was like-
miles.
It was not very far. Was that 13 miles?
Yeah, something like 13, 14 miles.
2 hours, right?
2 hours to go 14 miles. We'll call it 14. That's a round number.
But we made it. After we were up there a ways, then the road got
Better.
a little better. Actually, a lot better. It was like a super highway. And we got to the reservoir, and there's campers.
There's campers.
like-
It was like, how did they get here?
How in the world did
There
they
must
get
be
there?
an alternate route to get in here.
There must be. But we first stopped at the boat launch, and you can have boats on that reservoir.
Up to 5 horsepower.
Yeah, it's mainly, no wake
Yeah.
type vessels, and you can fish there.
Kayak.
And there were, I want to say, 3 camping
That sounds
sites
about
there.
right.
There
Maybe
was
4 counting the group site.
there was a vaulted.
The cleanest, freshest smelling vault toilet ever.
Okay, well, let me tell you, all of them that we tried there at Buck Eye, the highest rated vault toilets
Yeah.
ever.
If they
It was like brand
10
new.
is the highest, they got a 12.
Yes. Clean as can be, fresh smelling. Of course, they had those little tree air fresheners
They
that
hang
go
on
in.
your rearview mirror.
Yes, they had a few of those in there.
Few meaning 5.
Yeah, different flavors
It's fruity.
but it smelled great.
It did.
There was no graffiti. There
None.
was I was afraid to step in there because it's like, oh, my muddy shoes will make a footprint.
Yeah.
So, thumbs up for the vaulted ceilings, vaulted toilets there. But at that time, we did not know that. But we were at the boat dock, looked through there, and then we saw a trailer across from the lake,
Reservoir.
and we decided to drive around, see what
Let's
else.
check this out.
Now, they have a couple of places that are fee camping, and we drove around the fee camping site, and there were several people there. Lots of reservations and stuff. There was a camp host.
Few open.
But there's no shower. And so I'm like,
If I'm
Okay.
going to pay,
if I'm going to pay,
I want a shower.
I want a shower. So I want running water.
Yep.
If I'm going to pay, I want running water. Because just a little ways away, I could have a free one.
Yeah.
We
On
could
the same reservoir.
So we could just go over to the boat ramp if we wanted to. But on the same side, there was another campsite,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was supposed to be a fee one, but I didn't see any place for us to do. I think it was a Pioneer one. I don't remember the name of it.
It was a group site, too.
And we just kept going, and we found a great site really close to the lake. And it was free, and it was close to the nicely smelling vaulted toilet.
The fruity smelling.
The fruity smelling vaulted toilet. And that was a nice camp spot. So it was free. We parked in there. It was probably better for a tent, but we found a place to park the Jeep and make it semi-level.
Mm-hmm.
And those fire rings,
Beautiful.
they were like
Concrete, cement,
concrete
above the ground.
above the ground
Had
cylinder.
a metal lining in it, kind of.
Yeah, it was like this. Yeah, it was
Like
wonderful.
a hot plate you set on the side.
Well, that metal was.
Yeah.
But you made your first fire of the trip.
Yeah, usually not too big into making fires, but this time
You were determined,
I wanted
even
one.
with wet wood.
and it worked
Finally,
eventually,
eventually.
but it worked.
You don't even remember eating because you were
No, I was
working
too
with that.
involved trying to figure out how to get this fire to go.
Yeah.
Found it. Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. That was a nice, relaxing place. No service.
None whatsoever. Great place to take the kids if you want them to unconnect from the internet.
But you know what? People take movies and stuff
That's
like
no
that.
fun.
I know. But, we take
TVs, radios.
we take our computers, so I guess we shouldn't
Yeah.
judge. We work from anywhere.
That's true.
But we can't work on the internet from everywhere.
No,
So
we're
we gotta
working
think-
on that one.
Got to think of some other things.
Alternatives.
Alternatives. But I enjoyed that
Yeah,
night, and there were several
it's frosty.
people. Was that the night that
It
you
was
just
quiet.
could not get warm?
That was the night I just could not stay warm. Could not get warm.
Yeah, and
Slept in my coat.
it was chilly
It was 4 degrees Celsius inside the Jeep.
when we woke up,
Yes.
and there was
Frost.
so much frost on the
Pink.
tent.
Had pink mountains in the morning sunrise.
Oh yeah, I got up to go to the restroom, and then I quickly came back to you and said, "You've got to get up right now. The mountain is pink. You got to take a picture."
So I did.
Yes.
I jumped out of bed, just like I always do, and
This time you actually did jump out of bed.
it's run downstairs, and
Take
Poof.
a picture.
there it was.
Yeah, you know how to have the camera settings to get things a lot prettier than I do.
Well, it's there.
I loved it. It was gorgeous. Seeing
It
the
was. Beautiful
the-
setting.
the snow-capped mountains in the distance and everything. And so we got up because we wanted to get an early start in the day
Mm-hmm.
to make our way to this living museum that you had in mind. And we were thinking it was in Naturita,
Naturita.
something like that. It's like natural, but Rita.
Yeah.
And so we got an early start. And I was looking at the map. I was like, this is where we need to go, is this Forest Road 375.
And that'll take us to?
And that takes us down to Paradox via some of these other forest roads and stuff. And so let's just go. Because you were going to take us down the road that we came in on, but then jaunt off a little bit before we
Yeah.
got to X2. And so we started. And we kind of had some difficulty.
Difficulties.
Going down that road, going down the mountain,
Uh-huh.
we had some spectacular views.
Gorgeous.
Early on in this little trip, this little endeavor, we came upon mud in the road.
Yeah.
It was kind of soggy
And slick.
and slick. And I didn't know this until you told me to come poke my head out, but the tires were
Mhm.
just caked with mud. And
Yeah, we were like 2 inches, 3 inches taller than what we normally are because it's so much mud on the tires.
And you mentioned that it was like driving on ice.
Yeah, it was slick.
And we just kept
Back
going.
end wanted to keep sliding around towards the front
we
end.
were fishtailing it a little bit. And we were going slow. We were going
Downhill.
Yeah. Well, then there came a point that's like, okay, I got to get out.
I'm going
and
to
then
look.
You're going to look. And so then you come back and your shoes were just caked on. It was like, it was so gummy. That mud was
Yeah.
just so gummy. And I was like, I'm sorry, Robert. Are you okay? You're like, okay, we're just going to move
Yeah.
on some more. So we moved on a little bit further, and then
Mhm.
you got out, looked some further.
Scout around the corner.
Mm-hmm. And it got worse and worse.
Okay, there's grass growing in the middle here.
And you thought, and it's like, okay, surely we can make it down. We saw some spectacular views. We could see the valley, the Paradox Valley. We could, we're like, it's got to be close. It's got to be close. And then we got to a point, we were going downhill, and there was, I guess, scrub brush
Yeah.
type stuff. And you're like, I got to get out and think. I was
Yep.
like, oh.
Actually, I had to go to the bathroom. But that's a different topic.
But you can think and do that at
Yeah.
the same
Yeah,
time.
that's
But you said, I got to get out and walk. And so that's what you did.
Yep.
And
about a half mile down. I walked a ways.
You walked a long ways. And I stayed with Oscar. And I was like, oh, my goodness. I could tell that you were getting a little stressed. But you had to think about things.
I had to scope it out.
You did. And you scoped it out. You went.
I
You were gone
said-
for a long time. And I stayed near the Jeep, but I did get out, and I did get a little bit of gummy stuff on my shoes.
I said, we're going to turn around.
Yep, that's what you said when you came back.
Prepare to get dirty.
Prepare to get dirty.
This is not going to work out.
You were afraid that, see, where we were on an incline, and there was no place to, like, just turn around.
No.
And so you had to back up the hill quite a ways
Yep.
for a turnaround to get forward. And it was slick, slick, slick.
You did some video.
I did some video. It's going to be on YouTube, so people need to make sure to pay attention. So you said prepare to get dirty. I was like, okay, these little tiny shoes,
Not going to get it.
I'm going to get my water shoes. I know my water shoes have holes in them and stuff like that, but they have a blowout in them,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to throw them away anyway.
And where we were,
I didn't care.
there's not nothing to winch to
No.
in case we had to winch up something.
So I changed.
And
Yeah.
we don't have max tracks.
No, we don't. Because
We
we
got some
don't usually get into these types of situations.
That's right.
I changed my shoes, and then
Mhm.
I didn't want my clean pants dirty, so I put on shorts
Yep.
because I didn't care about those shorts. It's like, they're water shorts.
Nobody's watching us. Well, there could be, but
Okay, but we woke up to frost, and it
Mhm.
was so cold. But by the time we were
This
on that
was
mountain,
9 o'clock-ish. Not even 9 o'clock. 8 something.
it was heating right on up.
Yeah.
And so wearing shorts and those
Water
shoes were just fine. And boy, mud everywhere on my shoes. But anyway, you had me get our leveling blocks
Mm-hmm.
and space them out so that you could back up.
As traction aid.
Yes. And then you back up. And then we were going to do that again
Yep.
until we got to
To a
that
flattish spot.
no place to winch. And you were really kind of nervous, weren't you?
I'm not going to lie. I was.
You didn't think that you would have enough traction to go
Yep.
backwards.
By golly, the Jeep did.
Yes.
I invested in mud terrains for a reason.
Yes, but they were slicks.
They were kind of slicks.
And you know that first time that you went up backwards
Mm-hmm.
for those on those leveling blocks, you only hit 2.
That's probably enough.
Then we had to pick those up and do it again.
Get them out of the mud
Get them
first.
out of the mud, and those 2 that you ran over,
Stuck.
whoa, were they stuck. It was like in cement.
Yeah.
And you had to help me get those out.
Mm.
And, our little Bofang
Works.
handy talkies work great. There are channels that you can use for non-licensed people.
Yep.
Just walk-
FMRS and GMRS.
The walkie-talkie type frequencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we were using so that you could hear me say passengers or driver. Passenger side
Towards
or driver.
passenger side or towards driver side.
I was kind of navigating you. I did take video.
Yeah. Good. Otherwise, pictures or video, or it didn't happen.
And then we laid down those leveling blocks again, and you were able to just boogie it right up to that flat spot.
And I said, I'm going to turn around here.
And you turned around, and then
I felt better once turning around.
you turned around, but you didn't stop to wait for me. You kept going. You went
Yeah.
up the hill until there was another flat spot to where, I could walk up to you.
Yeah.
And you came back down and helped me with those
Yeah.
leveling blocks. But you did a fantastic job. You were boogieing
Well,
it up there. You
I
didn't get
said,
stuck.
get in, let's go for a ride.
Yes. You did a
So
great job.
we made it.
We did make it. And you know what I think was really good is that I sensed that you were stressed.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have any words. We didn't panic. We didn't, you were thinking, okay, we're going to spend all day here.
I was ready to spend majority of the day there.
Yeah, we might have spent the night at
Same campground.
Buck Eye that night after a long day of trying to get out. We had enough gas.
Yeah.
you
Had
were
radios
expecting-
to call if we needed to.
We
But
could walk. We
exactly.
could walk out of there and get help.
Couple
but-
miles.
I think, I think that, I knew that you needed to think and work things out. It's like, okay, how can I maneuver the Jeep to get out of this situation? Well, that was the time for me to not talk, right?
Sure.
And just do what I'm told. And I think that sometimes some couples may not work that way. I know that some people will just like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Oh
And
my gosh, you
panic.
got us into this Well,
Yeah, and just start an
you
argument.
did it.
Yeah, and just start an argument. But we don't do that. Typically,
No.
we just don't. We
Yeah,
might get
no-
angry once in a
Know
while.
when to talk and when to not.
Yeah. But by the time I was ready to come up to you, said, get in the Jeep and let's go up. Getting out of there didn't take long at all.
No, it didn't.
You barreled it through that, and mud was flying everywhere.
Inside,
Inside.
outside.
Big clumps. Oh, my goodness. Boy,
Momentum is worth a bunch.
poor little Oscar. He got muddy, too.
Yeah.
We rolled up the windows, but mud still was just everywhere. And, but we were excited that we got out of there.
Yeah. That was a relief.
And that was, how long?
I don't know. 2 hours from the time we left. Seemed like longer.
Yeah. And then we made our way. We decided to go to the boat dock. So we made our way back to almost where we were camped the night before,
Mhm.
after 2 hours of this, which you thought.
10 miles.
Yeah, 10 miles.
Round trip.
And then we went around the lake to the boat dock and decided to fill up our helio to kind of rinse off.
Let's
the
lighten
Jeep.
a load of the mud. Just rinse it off and
Yeah.
scrape it off.
Oh, and it did need it. We got
That's
our
terrible.
little shovel and scraped off. Luckily, I had a empty gallon jug,
Mhm.
water jug, and I said, let me just get into the lake here and
Dip it in, fill
dip
up
it
the
in,
helium.
and that filled up the helio a lot faster. And I had my water shoes on, so I stepped out onto a rock in the lake, and I needed to wash those water shoes anyway.
Now, double or nothing right there.
And that it was it warmed right on up. That water was kind of chilly. I hated to fall in.
That would be,
Way too chilly.
yeah, take your breath away probably.
But having my feet in there, and it was, the sunshiny day, it wasn't that bad. And we spent probably, an hour?
Hour and 45 minutes.
2
Clean-
hours
cleaning.
cleaning ourselves, our shoes, the Jeep, all of that. It was quite a thing. But our spirits were high,
Yeah.
and we found a different route to Naturita.
Yeah, Naturita.
And so we
You-
went there. Well,
You guided me.
You
A
know,
more direct route.
I have to say, I'm so glad that you don't get angry at things like that. Because
Yeah.
I did ask you like 2 or 3 times, are you angry with me?
No.
But
No.
it was an adventure, and
It was a stressful situation.
but I'm glad we got out of there. And so we made it to Naturita, and our first stop was the visitor center. And because we wanted to know, we didn't have signal, so we wanted to know where that Natural History Museum was,
The living history.
or Living History Museum. And we went in there and talked with the volunteer.
She'd never heard of it.
Right. And we're like, oh. But she gave us all this. She said, I think you're thinking of Grand Junction. And
That didn't ring a bell.
No. And so then we talked for quite a while. I looked around,
Yeah.
used the bathroom, washed my face.
Bet that felt good.
It did. And we talked for a little while, but we were just convinced. It's like, well, darn, it's not here.
So what'd we do?
We went over and got gas.
Hey, there's a library right there.
There was a library next to the gas station, and so
Yeah.
I got online and
Found it that way.
found it. And it ended up being in Delta.
Mm-hmm. Nowhere near where we were.
What's the fort called? because we couldn't remember it at the
Fort
time.
Uncompringue.
So
I
that's
think that's how you pronounce it.
that is
I'm
in
not from here.
Delta. So you were getting very, very hungry.
I said, I got to eat something now.
And we went to the grocery store, conveniently called
Groceries.
Yes.
Imagine that.
And I was talking to our daughter, Megan. There was some stuff happening back home that she was filling me in on while you picked out some salads and
Gallon of
macaroni
water.
salad and
Some emergency M&Ms.
yes. And then we were on our way. Well, we ate in the parking lot, ate our little
Salad, ate half of it.
Mm-hmm. And then we were on our way and toward Delta.
Long ways away.
It was about 45 minutes away.
No.
Oh.
It was an hour 50 something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It was quite a ways away.
It was 2 hours away.
And we needed to get there before 5 because they closed at 5.
Yep.
And you said, well, they may not even be open today. I said, well, Google said it was open till 5. So we
Boogity, 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 boogity.
we did stop at a few places because first Oscar said he needed a stop.
I got to go now.
And second, there were some pretty vistas that we needed to
take
look
pictures
at.
of.
But I guess you had gotten some communication from some friends back home, and you were doing radio time. I was writing. We were on a fairly
straight
road, so
Once
I
we
was
got
doing
on
some
to,
typing.
What was that? Ridgeway. Went over to 550 to Ridgeway.
Yeah.
And then got up to Montrose. That's where I was doing 20 meters on ham radio.
It was terrible. You couldn't hear.
Well,
barely hear him.
we were in town, and I couldn't hear him, but he could hear me fine. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch of noise and stuff. So
We boogity to boogity.
yeah,
And we made it to Delta at 4:00.
yeah.
And we got to the fort.
Got to tour the fort.
And, there is a $5 tour fee.
Mm-hmm.
But she said today
Happens
it's...
to be free.
I was like, are you kidding? This is awesome. And we didn't even look in the gift shop.
Our luck started out poor and ended up great.
We did not even...
She ushered us outside to look at the fort. Here's
Yeah.
a self-guided tour.
So we did. And look through things. I need to read the little brochure because maybe I'll narrate over some of that
There
stuff.
you go.
Because I was taking a business call and talking to one of our team members, and you were trying to do video, and I was talking.
You
in the
kept following
background.
me around. I was like, I can't get away from you.
But you thought it would be bigger.
I did. I had it pictured in my mind that it would be bigger in a little different setting.
Yeah. But it's in town, and it is a replica of the fort.
It's been there for 31 years.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
It is a great place, though.
Yeah.
Highly recommend going. And if they had reenactors and stuff like that,
I think they usually do
that would
on a
be,
weekend.
That would be really cool.
Volunteers that come out and do such things.
And they had teepee, they had cabins, they had the trader area equipped with stuff that they traded. They had fur.
Yeah, I had it all.
They did. And so we encourage you to go out to YouTube and find the episode with that touring the fort. And we spent about 45 minutes touring the fort, and then we went in and finally got to look at the gift shop.
What did I find?
You found brass
cones.
Brass cones for your
leatherwork
projects.
7 cents a piece.
You just took them all.
If they had 100 of them, I would have bought them.
Yeah. And then I found some beading needles for $1, 25 for $1, and I was like, they're in this little paper folded thing.
Parchment.
I don't even know what it looks like, but I just said, it's $1. I'm going to get them because it says beading needles. I'm sure I need them.
Mm-hmm.
I need the needles.
Yeah.
And then they had postcards of the area.
Free.
She's like, I said, free? And she's like, yes, there were boxes and boxes because there's another foundation that runs runs that for the past few years, and they said there were boxes of these. We're making a movement.
A movement.
Free.
We're
postcards.
moving them on. Moving them on.
So I need to write those up, get them in the mailbox, and that was a really nice place. There were some things that I could have bought, but you know what? We don't have that
We're
much
limited.
room.
We are limited.
We are limited, but we got a lot of ideas and everything. So it was nice, and the director Chris was very nice. She was fantastic.
I asked for some recommendations on dispersed camping.
Yeah.
Well, just outside of town. You ever been? You like Red Rocks and other stuff?
You know what?
What?
Hold the phone
Okay.
or the microphone.
I'll hold the microphone.
Let's go back.
Okay.
We were in Naturita talking with the visitor center lady, and she said, "You got up X2? It should be because it's too early in the year."
You're lucky you made it up.
Yes. And then we told her about, what was it?
375.
And how we had to turn around. She's like, "Oh, yeah, those roads are bad. They're closed for right now."
Oh, I didn't see a thing across.
So
we're lucky to make it up X2.
Yeah. So it felt kind of.
We might have been
proud.
the first ones. I don't know.
I don't think so. Probably not. There's other crazy people.
Yeah, we ain't the only crazies.
Now, fast forward back to her talking about Red Rocks and stuff.
You like sagebrush and red rocks and stuff like that. I was like, we've seen plenty of it in Moab, but what's another night?
She said that there were a lot of mountain passes that are closed right now, too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, keep it under 9,000 feet. Be all right.
is that what she said?
Roughly.
Good deal.
So just outside of town is Dominguez Escalante.
And we made our way
Study
there.
area.
Yeah.
Wilderness study area. So we made our way there. Just kept driving. There's a lot of people here. Kept driving. We eventually found a spot.
We did. But
I think we're 12 miles in.
Yeah. And now we're kind of contemplating, okay, which way do we want to get out of here?
Yeah.
Are the roads going to be open? Will we have to turn around? And just kind of figure that out.
Yep.
But
got a half tank of gas and some in the jerry can, so
we're out of emergency M&Ms. We'll need to go soon.
we got to go to town. We have got to go to town.
But it's our adventures at Buck Eye is not easily forgettable for us.
That's one for the books there.
But
Coming soon.
That is where I was thinking, what if Robert fell and hurt himself and I could not contact people?
Yeah.
He hasn't shown me yet how to do an emergency call to somebody.
Yeah. Now it's kicking in.
It's kicking in.
Yeah, because we don't like seeing our neighbors and we want to be remote.
Yeah, and we need to be safe. And for the most part, we are safe. And I didn't feel unsafe. Through that whole experience, I was confident that you could get us out.
I wasn't quite sure, but
I was confident. I did not have any fear whatsoever. Probably because you were so calm, cool, and collected and saying, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do?"
I wasn't freaking out.
No, you weren't. So I appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's show about our little adventures at Buck Eye.
And if you didn't, keep your comments to yourself.
That's true. We took that from Mr. Dennis Garman.
Yeah.
I like how he ends his videos. And, we'd love for you to follow us.
BeenThereDoingThat.com.
We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Follow us there. Subscribe.
I think we're up to, 8 or 9 subscribers now?
I don't think so.
Oh.
According to our analytics, we have a lot more people that download our podcast than that. But all of y'all,
thank you.
Thank you. Until next time.
It is a beautiful day out. Go outside and enjoy the sunshine. Bye.